We're back for week 12.
Howdy.
We have no buys. It's Thanksgiving week.
Yes.
Gobble, 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 gobble. So we have 3 games on Thanksgiving, the regular Thursday night game, and then obviously the Cowboys and the Lions play their games. Usually it seems like either the Cowboys or the Lions are not very good on a given year, but this year both teams are really good. So
Great.
they're going to play a couple of teams that suck, and I don't know if they'll be competitive, but we're going to try to figure it out.
Not sure.
Okay. Packers at the Lions on Thanksgiving. Is this like a 11 o'clock central kickoff or something like that? Or no?
11:30.
All right. So I don't know if that's going to factor in if people can't wake up and get ready to go or what, but I have the Lions at home by 6.5.
And I've got the Lions giving 6.
Okay. And it opened at 7.5.
7.5.
And
Almost
it's
across the board.
Okay, so it's on the other side of a touchdown from what we guessed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a division game. The Packers just beat the Chargers. I don't know that the Packers are really going to like make a push for the playoffs or anything like that, but
They look bad.
I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion on this. A pretty fair line. The Lions are clearly the better team at home.
Yep.
It's a touchdown division game, so maybe that's why you don't go higher, but 7.5.
So this Lions team and that Eagles team we just saw last night, who's better? Well, let me rephrase that. I think the Eagles are better. I don't think it's a question, but do the Lions have a shot in the playoff standpoint? You think the Lions can beat that Eagles team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like last night, you see Kelsey fumble on the 15 when they're about to go.
All right. Yeah. Absent an extreme turnover situation.
Yeah. They absolutely have a chance. They're not the better team, but they're balanced, right? They're good on offense and defense. And it's going to come down to, I think those games are going to be one possession games.
Yeah.
And, it's just, do you execute the couple plays that really matter? I don't know.
When was the last time you had to talk about the Lions with any sort of weight when it came to the playoffs? Never.
Yeah. I mean,
1962.
They spoiled the Packers playoffs hopes last year on the last week.
Yeah.
But that wasn't them getting into the playoffs.
No, they didn't even get into it.
No. Yeah, so they obviously avoided a mini disaster against your Bears, being down 2 possessions with 5 minutes left or something.
I think it was when must have been that, but under 5 minutes. Yeah, they scored the one touchdown, but then that's fine. Then the Bears got the ball back with 3 minutes left and ran, I think, 9 seconds off the clock. And it's not even a joke. 9 seconds.
So 2 running plays and an incompletion, or what was it?
Yeah, pretty much up the gut. I guess the second one was an RPO, but still.
Let's go on to the Commanders and the Cowboys. I have the Cowboys by 10.
Also, F you, Vegas. Seriously. I had the Cowboys by 7. One week it's like they're up 17, and then they're playing the Giants, and they're the line's only 8. And now I'm so frustrated.
I guess you were right about what did you guess? 20 on the Panthers? And you beat them by 23 or
Was that large? Yeah.
Okay, so Josh goes Cowboys 7. I have Cowboys by 10. I think it's higher.
It's huge.
It's opened at 11. It's basically 11 most places. So
they got a lot of luck. Was it the Giants? I don't remember.
So this is a division game as well, but it just seems like Washington is kind of a mini dumpster fire.
Yeah.
They traded Chase Young. Ron Rivera, I think, is on the hot seat. They were 4-6 going into the game last week against the Giants, and they just refused to beat a really bad team. at home to keep their playoff hopes essentially alive or give themselves a decent chance. It's like, I mean, obviously they just weren't ready to play. Like they couldn't do anything against the Giants. So I don't know. I get it why this is double digits. It just seems like Washington has almost sort of given up. Like they just they're done. But it seems like when you start thinking that about a team, then it's like, oh, then it's gonna, like it'll be the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left, and Washington's up by 3, and that Dallas has to have a drive to win the game or those sorts of things.
It feels like their quarterback can get some things done. The Washington's quarterback.
Yeah.
Like if he were in just a better situation, like with more stability, I feel like he's a better quarterback.
Yeah.
If there's more stability on the Commanders, that would be just a better team as the roster is now.
Well, we've talked about how much he's gotten sacked.
Yeah.
And he still hasn't missed a game. But you think about being that productive while getting sacked. Like a lot of guys force stuff when they're getting hurried, and it doesn't seem like he's doing that much.
I mean, he's not leading the league in interceptions or anything either.
If they don't draft a lot of offensive linemen or look for some in free agency, I think there's something wrong there.
Yeah.
So Cowboys are rolling. They're at home by 11.
Good.
I don't know. I guess those first 2 games are more than a touchdown. I guess I just hope that they're close. Something fun to watch on Thanksgiving. A couple blowouts would kind of be a bummer while I'm eating my turkey.
It's never a good, like, it's just not good when the football's bad on Thanksgiving. Like, and to have the Cowboys and the Lions, like you said, both be good. I mean, that's never happened in my lifetime. I don't think. They've both been this good, this competitive, like this exciting to watch. They should be good.
Yeah.
And there's a good night game too, speaking of.
Oh, yeah. That's the 49ers and the Seahawks. And I have the 49ers by 4.
Woot. I got the Niners by 6.5.
I think you get that one. It opened at 5.5 and it's up to 6.5. Okay, so one thing here is Geno Smith. We don't know if he's going to play. He messed up his elbow and his tricep. It seems more of a mobility and pain tolerance thing than like a structural problem. So given where the Seahawks are at, kind of needing a win to stay in that, to stay in the wild card hunt. I mean, obviously there are a couple games up where they'd be in the playoffs, but the last thing you want to do is lose 4 in a row and have some turd burger like the Commanders win 3 in a row, and then pretty soon, you're
out of the playoffs.
Right. So Geno Smith, questionable. I think I was kind of assuming he would play when I made my guess. If he's ruled in and he seems pretty healthy, I'm curious if this goes down closer to maybe 4 for the Niners on the road, but it is 6.5. So Josh nailed that one. I shouldn't be talking. He nailed it, and I'm the one talking. What do you think on this?
I know the Niners lost 3 in a row, then they've come back since then. They just look like I think we talked about this last night too. I think they look like the most complete team when all things being equal. I just think they're a better team. I didn't put it a blowout because the Seahawks have been competitive and Carroll's a good coach, but and the other thing is the Niners are on the road, but I don't know. Road games, I don't have the stats in front of me, but road games this year in the NFL I think have become almost meaningless. I think road teams have a better record than home teams this year. At least that was earlier in the season. So I feel that mitigates it. And I mean, if Geno's out, all bets are off. But I definitely think this is the Niners game.
Another thing is the Seahawks starting running back Kenneth Walker most likely isn't going to play. He's got an oblique injury.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, running backs are somewhat of a commodity. Obviously, he's a little bit better than the backup Charbonnet, but I don't know that it's that. I don't know that it would like change the line a lot or anything like that, but it's something to note for sure. But yeah, I mean, the way the Niners are playing is it's just so weird. Like they were crushing everyone, and then they had that 3-game spell where they just they sucked, and now they just seem like they're back after the bye week. Like they just figured things out again, and obviously staying healthy is a big thing. So 6.5 49ers. So that's your night game
Thursday.
on Thanksgiving.
If you're still awake for it.
So obviously I'm hoping Gino can play and he's healthy so that's competitive.
It's such a good game. Should be a good game.
How loud can the 12th man be at night on Thanksgiving?
Probably not loud enough. Be my guess. We'll see.
Okay. Now, for the first time ever, we have Black Friday football, NFL. Which, I mean, if you're traveling and you're with relatives and you need a little break from all the family time, football on Friday is not a bad thing.
And watch that football game.
All right. Dolphins at the Jets.
Yeah.
I have Dolphins by 8.
Yeah, Dolphins giving 10.
I think I'm closer, but wow.
It jumped.
It opened at 7.5 and it is 10. All right, so Josh gets that 1, 2 in a row on the dot.
Damn.
So I'll say something quick and then you can steal the mic with your exacta. Zach Wilson is not starting. The Zach Wilson project is officially terminated. I don't even know who the backup is. I glanced at it. Oh no, Boyle.
Is that it?
Tim Boyle?
He was an old Chicago Bulls head coach.
Or is it Tom Boyle? I don't know. Something,
he might have also been.
Something's boiling in New York for the Jets.
Yeah.
So it opened at 7.5 and it moved 2.5 points. That's a lot. That's usually like a somewhat major injury, or maybe the line opened when they still thought Wilson was going to be the quarterback. But I don't know why. If Boyle's playing instead of Wilson, I don't know why you would like the Dolphins more. I don't really know, but something's going on with that. I mean, it moved 2.5 points. That's significant.
Mm-hmm.
I just hate these bad, like these games where team has a really good defense, but their quarterback is completely inept, or now you have another guy stepping in and you just don't know what you're going to get. Like, I have no idea what I just hope it's a competitive game so that when I'm eating my leftover turkey Friday night, I can have something to watch, like something exciting to watch.
Yeah, the NFL is definitely sitting there going, we really effed up. And could we flex this game out of Friday? Like to be the only game of the day and it's Dolphins, Jets. Maybe they're trying to get Rodgers out of it. Put him out there in a wheelchair or something.
Oh yeah, or maybe he will rub some ayahuasca on his Achilles and he'll be ready to go for Friday. That would be something.
Excavate him from his darkness retreat and let's just get going.
So this would have obviously this would have been a really good game. Rodgers
and fun. Yeah.
Tua and all the playmakers, and I mean that would have
exciting to see.
Could have been a really good game. And obviously I think that's what they were thinking about when they scheduled it, but obviously injuries happen. I think I brought this up once before, but something like 60 some different quarterbacks have started for the teams this year. It's just brutal. Like Geno Smith went down and was out for most of the rest of the game, and then Stafford on the next drive got smashed and it looked like he might not play, come back in. It just seems like
a lot of backup quarterbacks. It feels like we're going to start to see teams not only needing to invest in a starter, but in a reliable backup, like some guy who can come in and get you 2 games or 3 games.
But it's that's true. Because I was just gonna say, like, your backup's not winning a Super Bowl no matter what. But that's a good point. Like if your starter's only on a couple games and your backup can win.
You need the one of 2, right? Yeah, or go 2-2 over a 4-game stretch. Just think about what happened to San Francisco last year. Like that was a legit Super Bowl team. They were in that Eagles game and they literally just didn't have a quarterback.
Right.
So I feel like you're going to see that. And what's now is most teams can't even get one quarterback. You're going to have two on the roster that are manageable. Man, it's going to suck.
They should have I don't know how they would do that. I mean, this is obviously a joke, but you get to keep your starter if you want him, but all the backups go into like a pool, and you just get to like draft the backups. Because there's quite a few teams where the top two quarterbacks I think are better than whoever's starting for some of these really bad teams.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, Tommy DeVito made us eat our words after his spectacular performance on Sunday. So
Yeah.
we'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, let's move on. So this must be a noon game on Sunday. So we have the Buccaneers at the Colts. I went Colts by 3.
I've got the Colts by 4.5.
I think I get this one. It opened at 1.5, but it's moving up. It's 2.5. All right, so I have 3-2 so far. 2.5. Okay, so here's my perspective on this. Aren't the Colts a little bit better team than the Bucks at this point?
I think so. I don't think there's any question. I think you might even go so far as to say maybe their quarterback's even a little bit better.
So it's a tick below 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, it's a half a point, or it's close. It's close either way, but I just
What are you gonna say about these teams? They're not going to the playoffs. They're not in play for the first pick in the draft. Like it's like there's just I don't know. Go play football. there's 14, 15 other games to watch.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, so the Bucks are like 4-7 or something like that, and the Colts are 5-5. So
yeah, right around there.
I guess the message in the locker room is if we can only lose a couple more games, like win 2 out of every 3 the rest of the way, we'll be in the hunt, and that has to keep you motivated. But I mean, neither one of these teams really belong in the playoffs. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing the Colts in the playoffs. I feel like they could give someone a run, and maybe win a game. But
I mean, if it's Anthony Richardson, like I would love to see, right? I mean, it felt like they could have been there, right? Like that may have been their trajectory. And I mean, I don't want to. They're not losing because of Gardner Minshew, but I don't think they're winning either.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a situation where the backup, Minshew's the backup
for the season.
I mean, let's go through this real quick, and you tell me who would take, like, if you could just say, implant a quarterback who knows the system, would you take that quarterback's talent over what you have starting right now?
Yeah.
Which of these teams would take Gardner Minshew? I think the Packers would, or they should.
Yeah.
I think he's better than Jordan Love at this point.
Yeah. He certainly has more confidence.
I think the Jets obviously would.
Yeah.
The Bucks probably should, although that's probably about a wash.
Might be coin flip.
Patriots, I would say he's better than Mac Jones. Yeah. Giants, yes.
Yeah.
Steelers, coin flip. Bengals, Burrow's out. I mean, you'd take him over the backup.
Minshew on the Steelers, man. Like, think about how terrible the quarterback play has been. They won a game with Mitch Trubisky at quarterback, so that defense is so good with even a modestly dynamic playmaker at quarterback like Minshew. Wow, yeah. I'm talking Super Bowl.
All right, Panthers. Minshew's a better quarterback than Bryce Young at this point, and better than Levis. And,
I mean, at this point,
and better than Stroud. No, I'm just kidding.
No. No.
Better than whoever the Falcons choose to start on a given week.
You just listed like half the league. Think about that.
Better than Browns,
backup.
Dorian Thompson. Just don't throw interceptions. Yeah. Robinson, so we can run the ball and our defense can win games for us. Aiden O'Connell. I don't know.
We don't know yet. He hasn't played.
That's maybe a wash.
Don't know.
And then Josh Dobbs, same thing, maybe a wash. And then Justin Fields.
Or Paget. I'd rather have Paget.
But yeah, I mean, that's literally like
Fields, but over Minshew.
Half the teams where someone else's backup probably is a more serviceable option, but I don't know.
Yeah. But if I guess if they are 5-5, they could make the playoffs. Like 9-8 probably gets you in the AFC.
Yeah, you'd have to displace the. We are just looking at this last night. Who's
It's the Steelers, it's the Browns, and it's the
Bills.
Texans.
The Bills are sitting there just out right now. So
Yeah.
you'd have to. There's some pretty solid teams that you'd have to beat out.
What?
So I mean,
the Steelers feel like they're right for it though.
To fall out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, like the Colts are 5-5. So if they could go 5-2 or 4-3, they might be. I mean,
they're in the
depending
hunt,
on
I
how
guess.
things
Yeah.
shake out.
So everything I said before we started talking about this was wrong. I said, don't care about this game. This might have actual playoff implications. So watch, I guess.
Well, it could. It's kind of wishful
Yeah.
thinking, but we got to have something to talk about, right?
We do.
Okay, let's go on. We got 5 down. I'm up 3-2, and we got 11 left. Patriots off a bye against Tommy DeVito and his spectacular Giants.
God, dude.
I have the Patriots by 1.
I have them by 1.5. This is like they played 2 Super Bowls together. The Giants won both of them, which was just weird in of itself. Now I have the exact opposite. It's like the trash bowl.
Yeah.
They're 2 bad teams.
Tom Brady against Eli Manning. No. All right. It opened Patriots 3.5, and it's coming down to 3. So that probably settles on 3.
Yeah.
Josh gets that one. We're tied 3-3. Okay, so you obviously can't trust the Patriots, but I'm going to make the case for the Patriots.
Hate their quarterback.
So that
they hate their quarterback. They're mean to him on the sideline.
Yeah.
They hate their quarterback.
When there's dysfunction like that, you just got to stay away from that stuff. But okay, so Tommy DeVito played 10 times better than he had played at any point before last week.
Yeah.
The Giants blew out the Commanders in Washington when the Commanders, that's a game you just need to get up for and take care of business so that you stay in the playoff hunt. And they just refused to be competitive. It was weird. So now, I don't know. I think Tommy's a little overconfident here. You got Belichick. I don't know. Maybe he's not even a good coach anymore, but he had an extra week to prepare for Tommy DeVito. I think this is going to be low scoring. It almost has to be. The Patriots defense against a bad quarterback, and then the Patriots offense is dysfunctional against.
Is Mac Jones even starting?
The Giants defense is playing well. I don't know.
Yeah, because they pulled him again. They pulled Mac Jones.
Well, that's the thing. You pull him for in the game because he's so bad, and then you reevaluate, and you're like, oh wait, this other guy's bad too. Well, what are we gonna do?
It just seems so stupid. It's like if you don't honestly believe he's not the guy to win you the game in that moment, how could he possibly be the guy in any other moment? He can't. It doesn't make any logical sense.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's what do they say? You have to pick between a giant douche and a turd sandwich.
Just South Park. Straight up South Park.
I mean, you pick one, and then and then you pick the other.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly. They don't know. They really it just seems bad. What are you establishing? What are you building? You can't with either of them, and then you don't know, and then it's back and forth. I don't know. I feel like at that point consistency matters more than maybe.
So they're assuming they have the pick that they're supposed to have, and they didn't trade it or whatever. They're going to have a good pick. So
second worst team in the league right now.
I think they're
number 2.
Well, you could see them doing. Belichick does some weird things, but you'd have to think they'd take one of the top couple quarterbacks in the draft.
Drake May or Caleb Williams.
But Orlovsky, I think it was, said the Patriots are not helping out Mac Jones at all by what they're doing, and Mac Jones is not like his attention to detail and his progression, like he could be doing more for himself too. So it's just kind of like a bad marriage. I don't know.
I don't think the Patriots ever, or let me say, I don't think Belichick wanted to develop a quarterback. I don't think he was prepared to develop a quarterback. He wanted to plug somebody in and get going, and he wasn't able to. Mac Jones was the wrong person for that, and they have done nothing to reverse that and make the situation better and try and establish the foundation. And most teams seem to do this with new quarterbacks. They can't do it. So I guess they're in good company. But and then they just refusing. And then the waffling between two different quarterbacks doesn't help. It's just bad stuff.
Yeah.
I think the Giants are going to win this game.
Okay. I mean, I think the Patriots are, but again, I have no. I don't know. These two teams are both terrible and inconsistent. Like, just stay away from it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we said the line. Yeah, we did. We said Patriots 3. Josh gets that one, so we're tied 3-3. And how come we always talk so much about these bad matchups?
There's some interesting detail. I know there's some interesting details here. I think in the badness and like in trying to wade through. I mean, the Giants have shown some fight. The Patriots have shown some fight with each other, and that's not. That's just trending in the wrong direction.
I guess a lot of times it is more fun to talk about terrible play.
Yeah,
you just have to laugh rather than teams playing well.
Or just trying to understand what the fuck led them to that shit in the first place. So just take a step back and go, maybe we shouldn't do this.
How did we get here? Okay.
All right. Next game.
Steelers at the Bengals.
Woo!
I have the Steelers by 4.
I have the Steelers by 2, but they don't have Matt Canada anymore. So what does that
mean? Rid of him?
Yeah, he was fired today, I think.
Decent.
This morning.
All right. Obviously, Burrow is done for the year with his hand ligament, wrist ligament, something injury. I think you're going to get this one.
I don't know. I mean, it may have shifted with the ousting of Canada. It's 1.
So the Bengals opened as the favorite, and now it's the Steelers are favored by 1. Okay. Steelers. Oh, can't spell. Josh gets that one. Okay, so Steelers by 1. You're pretty close. What do you think about this?
I think this is a division game. I mean, we saw what happened last week with the Ravens and the Browns. It was close. It was a slugfest. We saw the same thing with the Steelers, or not last week, 2 weeks ago. Then we saw with a lot of scoring, and then we saw the exact opposite this week with the Browns and the Steelers. It was low scoring, but it was a slugfest. It was close right into the last second. Whether these teams are scoring a lot or a little, they're competitive and they're right there. So that's why this line makes sense to me. Even if Burrow was starting, even if Kenny Pickett was half the quarterback Burrow is, I still feel like this line is close.
Yeah. My question is, like, has Brown, so the backup is Jake Browning. Has he started again? I don't know where he came from or how long he's been in the league, but has he ever had a start? I don't think
I don't even know. Is he even a rookie or has he just been, I don't know.
So that's obviously the story, whether he's serviceable or not.
That's right.
But you get the Steelers only -1 against a backup quarterback. That's interesting. I mean,
so according to the Athletic, he's undrafted out of University of Washington in 2019.
Okay. So it seems like if a quarterback is serviceable, but there's like 0 tape on them, the first game they usually do
competitive,
decent because the other team doesn't know exactly what they're going to get. But I don't know.
It'd be interesting to watch, right?
Yeah, like, oh, your first start, you get to go up against Watt and Highsmith, running at you every time you drop back. We'll see. Granted, if you get to that level, you're pretty comfortable with people trying to beat the what out of you. So I don't know. I mean, I guess I lean Bengals at home. because the line's so low, like I thought it would be Steelers by more than a field goal, and it's not. So go figure.
Yeah, this one just feels like a coin flip. I just don't know.
Well,
Right.
who's calling the plays for the Steelers now that mastermind is out of there?
I think, you know what? I think it's just going to be an AI. And they're just going to, Mike Tomlin just be like, okay, it's 3rd and short.
They
I need a pass.
feed their playbook into the AI.
Yeah,
and they
it's just
say,
open AI.
Third and
until that happens.
two in the second quarter.
Like 15 years from now, there's going to be no coaching staff whatsoever. It's just going to be AI. So, I mean, the sidelines pushing buttons. That's it.
I mean, but really,
I weep for football.
as long as there's grown men out there smashing each other, I don't really care. Okay.
All right. This could be a good game, could be a terrible game. I don't know, man. Maybe just keep it on the second TV if you got one.
Yeah. Josh is up 4-3. We're gonna move on. Panthers at the Titans. I have the Titans by 5.5.
The Titans by 3. Titans by 3.5.
Yeah, opened at Titans 4 and it's 3.5. Oh. Josh gets that one. What? Okay. The Panthers have one win. Are they the only team with one win?
I think yes, because the Patriots are the second worst team and they have 2.
So they're basically saying these two teams are equal.
It's got to be Will Levis, right? It's just like he had one good game and then not some good games. And I just feel like that's what this is. Plus, it's at the Titans, so I feel it. I guess I agree. It's like, oh, it's 3.5. So they're giving you the at-home bonus plus 5 points. So it's like Levis is 0.5 points better than Panthers.
I guess there's something to be like the Titans haven't played well at all, so you just can't like two weird bad teams. You just don't go wild with it. I guess that's. But again, my way of thinking is Panthers side just because I thought it would be higher. It's lower. It seems like maybe there's something there. You still get when two bad teams play each other. Don't assume that the little bit better bad team is going to win. I feel like it's just a complete crapshoot. So you get Panthers with the hook on the 3, and I think if you, I mean that's just don't love it, but that's the side in my opinion. Do you think the Titans are upset that they named Levis the starter? Like Tannehill could have won one of those games, right?
I don't think so. I think they've wanted to move on from Tannehill since last season, and I don't think he's going to be on the roster next year, and I don't think they have faith that he was going to bring them anywhere that mattered. So no, I
It's
think
just
they feel
crazy
right where they
because
are.
what was that 2 years ago? They got the 1 seed.
Yeah, and they didn't do anything with it. I think they knew then, right? Like after that game, like that, he wasn't going to be the guy. Tannehill's career is amazing. He's the only quarterback that I could think of that was a surefire bust for the team that drafted him, went somewhere else, and then became productive for more than a season. Because you always
Geno Smith.
Well, so he's the other guy, right? So, but he hasn't done it as long as Tannehill did because he's really only got this is his second season. Last season he came on the scene. This is his second season. So if he can do it more than and obviously barring injuries, but he would be another. But you don't see that. You don't see quarterbacks, certainly not ex-Bears quarterbacks, go to other teams and be successful after they failed here. And like we were talking about Mac Jones, I don't see Mac Jones going to I don't know wherever and being like, oh, he's suddenly good now.
I don't know.
Not like Tannehill. Like he just really incredible. He's done. He's done.
And he's been in the league for like 10 years.
Dude, he's been forever. I remember he was on Hard Knocks when Miami, like he was a quarterback. Maybe he was a rookie when Miami did Hard Knocks. When the guy with the head coach was the XOC of the Packers at the time, I think for Favre's final few. Anyway, and I remember they were talking to Tannehill, and he was like, he wasn't really interested in football, and he couldn't name forget, like he couldn't name any team from like the AFC West or something. Like he had like no, he's like I don't really follow football or something. He's like he's got other interests. I don't know. He's been his career's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I mean, so if he's gone from there, he's still got some life left in him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
someone, like I said,
Oh, would he be on the Patriots? Like, would Belichick sign him or
someone will
maybe
take a chance on him. Someone will like his skill set and think he fits in well, and he'll end up somewhere. I think
that sounds like something the Bears would do. The trade Justin Fields to the Titans just straight up for Tannehill. That's like a real Bears move.
Or maybe since he just doesn't really care that much about football, he'll just retire at 30 or however old he is, 32, and
sit on a pile of millions. Sounds fine.
Yeah. All right. We're about halfway done. I am losing 3-5 at this point. We have a division battle between the Jags and the Texans. I have the Texans by 1.
I have the Texans by giving 3.
I think I get that one. I think the Jags are favored. So it did open Texans
it did, but it flipped to the Jags. Yeah.
And the Jags are favored by 1.5. That's interesting.
It is, because it's at Houston. This is an intriguing game. I just don't feel like we know enough about the Texans. I feel like the zeitgeist around the Jags is like they're not a really good team. They're one of those like paper lions where they're like good in the regular season. They have no like playoff potential, and
they're the AFC version of the Cowboys, kind of.
Yeah. Like they're looking really good. They've got some really hot stuff out there in the regular season, but then they just come playoff time, it's just they're not even an obstacle. I don't know if that's true for the Jags. I mean, the Cowboys have a little bit more history there to draw from, but this is fascinating to me in terms of the kind of game we're going to get, and they're going to win. I really do. I think CJ Stroud, that whole team, new coach, rookie quarterback, and they're in the playoffs right now. Give me the Texans.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn on this one. I want to like the Texans, but the line, like Vegas giving the Jags the nod on the road is a little peculiar to me, but I don't know. I mean, Stroud's the better quarterback. The Jags maybe have a more
huge, better,
more
really. Sorry, man, better than really.
Well, I'll say, yeah, I don't know. It seems like the big moments, like he's clutch. I guess
his rookie season is certainly head and shoulders above what Lawrence did in his rookie. There's no question.
Right.
There's no question. I think I agree with you though. And that's just a really bold statement,
But hopefully this game's as good as it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You got one team favored by 1.5, so hopefully it comes down to the end.
And
we'll see who's better in AFC. What's that? South?
Yeah.
AFC South.
NASCAR division.
All right, I got that one. I'm down 5-4 now, and we got the Saints at the Falcons. I think both of these teams are coming off of bye. I went Saints by 2.
I've got the Falcons giving 2.5. I went the other way. I don't know why.
I think I'm a little closer. I think it's in between.
Oh, it started in Atlanta, but
maybe not. What the heck?
It's at a pick'em. It's all over. Geez. So there's 2 pick'ems, 5 of the 7 lines go to the Falcons. But of those 5, 2 are a push. 1 is 1. 1 is half a point, and the other is 1.5 points.
This is like an absolute conundrum.
Do we just want to just avoid this one because it's just all over the fucking map?
It really doesn't make sense. And if you look at our guesses, I went 2 one way, you went 2.5 the other way. Yeah. Literally, us making a decision based on this scrambled data would give one of us the win. All right, we're gonna do the first ever. We're gonna say it's
Sounds like-
Falcons by 0.25. And if you go to the if you do the math here, I think that gives us we're both off by 2.25, and it is a tie. And
Nice.
I know some of you perfectionists, or I don't know if that's the right word, watching this are gonna say that's the stupidest thing ever. But it is what it is. Go to covers.com and look up the odds, NFL odds, and tell me what you would call this line. Consensus. Tell me what you would call the consensus.
I mean, I think that they wanted to say pick them, and then just nobody had the balls.
Yeah.
Only two groups had the balls to say we don't know.
And why do so this is jumping over, like one team's favored, the other team's favored. Both of these teams are inconsistent, and
Is it for the division?
I think it probably is. If the Falcons win, they probably would take over first.
They're
Maybe
4-6, and the Saints are 5-5, so they won't. But I mean, the
unless
Falcons
they
need
get the
this game.
tiebreaker, which they would probably have, unless they've already
Did
played.
they played? I don't know, but they would still be if they. Well, no, that's right. They would be tied 5-6 and 5-6. So yeah, so the Falcons it might be in the lead. I don't know how the tiebreakers would work. You're right. I don't know how math works. I forgot that I needed to. one loss, one adds a loss, one adds a win. Anyway,
So these two teams are pretty similar. Like neither one of them wants to be
No.
great.
No.
But they're both decent from week to week. I have no opinion on this. I don't know. I think the Saints are a little bit better team, so you just take the Saints.
so the Falcons in a tie record, if I understand, I'm assuming the tiebreaker is division record first. If it's not outright head to head, must be maybe it's head to head then division. I don't know. That seems logical, but the Falcons are undefeated in their division right now, and the Saints are 1-1. So if the Falcons won, I think they would be in.
So if the Falcons win a home game to get to 5-6, they are in the playoffs right now.
As the division leader.
Heck, I don't think. What's the worst division in the AFC? I don't think there's any division like that where
It's an interesting question. What is the worst division?
a team, like a not so great team, is winning.
It's got to be the East, right? So that's the Dolphins, the Bills, the Patriots, and the Jets.
But the Dolphins are like, what are the Dolphins? 7-3.
7-3.
Yeah. So I mean, there's nothing comparable.
No.
Just so you have the AFC North where every team is above 500. Or, well, the Bengals are 500 now, I think. And then you have the NFC South where it's like, do we really have to send one of these teams to the playoffs? But that's kind of every year.
There's one division. So if the Bucks win and the Falcons win, it's possible. I think that the Saints could actually fall behind the Bucks. Again, I don't know how the tiebreakers work, but they both have the same division record.
Well, what are the Bucks?
The Bucks are so if the Bucks win, so the Bucks right now are 4-6, and the Falcons are 4-6, and the Saints are 5-5. So if the Falcons beat the Saints and the Bucks beat the Colts, then all three will have the same record, and it would be possible for the Saints to be. I don't know how the tiebreakers work.
Right. Ugh.
What a fucking mess. Wait, can we swear in this podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Okay, good. So I've dropped a few F-bombs.
Oh, you're good.
All
All
right.
right.
A little blue in the afternoon. Sorry.
So you right there, you have your first ever quarter point spread, and that one's a tie. So it's 5-4 with a tie, and we're gonna go on
Next
to
game.
the Rams. Los Rams. Do you ever watch ESPN Deportes? And they always, when they announce the Rams, it's Los Rams. It's just weird.
The energy is good.
So the Rams against the Cardinals. I have the Cardinals by 1.5.
I have the Cardinals by 3. Why would the Rams favorite? This is dumb to me.
It opened at Rams 1.5. What is with these lines?
I don't know. Well,
it opened at Rams 1.5, and it's all over the place. Some places have the Cardinals favored by 1 to 1.5 points. Most places have the Rams by a point.
I mean, that's fine. Rams by 1.
Well, either way, I get that
Yeah.
one because I'm closer no matter
Yeah.
what. So I think a pick 'em is pretty fair there.
Why are the Rams favored? They're not even at home.
Um, so
Because Kyler
so
Murray.
the Cardinals. Okay, so Kyler Murray came back 2 weeks ago. Who did they beat again? They beat the Falcons.
And then
They
they
beat
put
the
their loss.
Falcons on a last-second field goal.
Yeah.
Which, nah. And then they were competitive against the Texans. They had a chance to win that game. They were driving down 5 and just couldn't. They got to like the 30 of the Texans and they just couldn't punt
They
it
lost
in.
by 5.
Yeah.
And the Houston didn't blow them out. Like, it's only 21 points.
Here's what I'll say. If you think like you're really positive what's going to happen in this game and like which team's going to win, put something in the comments because I don't know how anyone is confident in this game.
But I just don't. Why? I don't understand favoring the Rams. Like, I don't. That just
Well,
doesn't
they
make
got
any
a
sense to me.
better record. I would say they probably have a better coach. I would say
Okay, I'm definitely a better coach. There's no question about that.
they.
No question.
I don't know. I don't know that they deserve to be a playoff team, but what are they? What's their record?
They're 4-6.
Yeah, I mean, if they go 4-3 and get to 8-9 or 5-2, like they probably make the playoffs, which is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I feel so 5-2. That makes them. It's 9-8. So
in the NFC, that's
it. You think that's it? I feel like because every year since they've had the 7th seed, I don't have the. I feel like 9-8 gets you in that 7th slot.
Right.
And sometimes it's 8-8 or 8-1.
Right.
I feel like either conference has that one team. So that's realistic. Is that to get to 5-2? They would have to turn it on because 5-2 is the record of a really good team. I don't know that
right.
It's a really good team. So,
but this one's big because if you lose this one, then you have to go done. 5-1.
Yeah.
If you win this one, you got to go 4-2, which is a lot
better.
Achievable,
that's true.
But
that's true.
And then Call of Duty's coming out, so that's probably part of it. Tyler's going to be playing Call of Duty.
Be very busy, keeping those thumbs busy.
I think there actually is one coming out, but
there is. Yeah. My wife's very interested.
All right. Don't overanalyze this one like we did.
Nope. Don't spend so much time.
But the Rams Seahawks game was entertaining. It was low scoring, but it was back and forth. Well, actually, Seahawks were up by 2 scores, and the Rams kind of stole it. But
McVay is one of the best 3 coaches in the league, right? I mean, I know his record isn't reflecting that. Like,
yeah,
he's like, it's not Belichick anymore. I mean, he's the best ever, but currently this season, it's like McVay, Reed. I don't want to say Tomlin, Harbaugh. Let me say Harbaugh, man, because those Ravens look good. I mean, those feel like the best 3 coaches in the league right now. I mean, again, the Rams are just on a down here. But
one thing to note is Cooper Kupp had an ankle injury, and they're saying that he has a chance to play this week, which seems weird because he sat out the whole second half. Kyren Williams, I think, is coming back. He was the Rams starting running back before he got hurt, and he seems like clearly the best running back they have.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll get him back most likely. And then Stafford took a huge hit. I'm guessing he'll play. He seems like he's always hurt, and he just plays through it. But that's something to monitor as well. Might be a good game. Should be a close game, but we'll see how that one plays out in the NFC West. Okay. Browns at Broncos. I have the Broncos by 3.5.
The Browns giving 4.
Whoa, we are way opposite. And it opened at Broncos 2.5, and it's
2.5.
Broncos 2.5.
The exact opposite of like the last 2 lines we've had. Consistency across the board.
Okay. Broncos 2.5. I think a fair line. I missed it by a point, but
Hmm.
Broncos are playing really well. They just beat the Chiefs, Bills, Vikings. It seems like Peyton's stuff is like sinking in. Like they're
Yeah, when I was talking about this coach, shit.
you can still say it. We're still
I
on.
mean, he's like, oh, man, now I don't even fucking know. So if you're saying like best, yeah, kind of be McVay out, Peyton, Harbaugh, Reed. I mean, all four of them are won a Super Bowl. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to disrail your
Yeah.
conversation.
That's the good thing.
Mm.
When every team plays that week, you really get to go
You
through
really
and analyze
Mm.
everything.
Get in the meat.
Nobody gets to hide behind a curtain for a week.
No,
All the teams are playing.
that's right.
All right. So yeah, like I was saying, the Broncos won 3 in a row against 3 above 500 teams.
Yeah.
It seems like they're like Peyton and Wilson are on the same page. The defense is playing really good. I mean, I don't know. Like that's a playoff caliber team. I don't know if they'll make it or not, but I think they're like 5-6.
Yeah,
And then you got the Browns, whose defense is really good, and they
best
just
in the league right now.
can't find someone to like throw a pass and like
No.
to a receiver. So here's what I'll say about this. The Broncos run defense is one of the worst in the league, and the Browns obviously are really good at running the ball. I think the Browns are just going to run it down their throat, and they're going to play good enough defense. And I think the Browns are going to pull this game out. But I don't know how you pick against the Broncos after those 3 games. They've those 3 wins in a row that's a good string of wins for any team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be a close game. As advertised, it should be a low scoring game, but you never really know on that. Kind of a bit of a, like I said, a bit of a bad matchup for the Broncos just because of the way the Browns play, and that's a weakness for the Broncos defending the run, but we'll see.
I mean, according to the Ringer, the Broncos have like the best defense in the league right now. They're
The last so many games or whatever.
Yeah, so up through this past weekend, they've got the Broncos ranked first in passing defense and 8th overall in rushing defense, which is the best combined. They just look good. They also, according to the Ringer, are ranked 30th in passing offense, and passing the ball is very important in the NFL right now. So, yeah, man, the Browns are a hot team. They're 7-3, and they've been in and out of like quarterback status the whole season, so that's remarkable stability. But the Broncos, man, they can come out and win this. Are they like a legit, like, can we start talking about them as legit Super Bowl contender?
I don't know.
Great coach, used to be great quarterback.
How do you?
Man.
Okay, so in order to do that, you're gonna have to beat the Ravens and the Chiefs on their field.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, they say defense travels, so I guess you could say they'd have a shot.
Here's the thing, though, would they? Because the Chiefs are now 3 games. They've lost 3 games. The Broncos have beaten the Chiefs already, and they have to play one more time. They just need the Chiefs to drop one more game, and if they can beat the Chiefs themselves, maybe they can make that record up. 2 more.
Look up the Broncos? Are they 5-6?
The Broncos, I thought, were 5-5. The Broncos are 5-5.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't the Chiefs, I'd say maybe, but I don't know. I just don't think. Well, who knows? I mean, that's kind of crazy that we're even
right. But we're talking about it like mathematically with 7 games left. That's possible.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. Yeah,
it's crazy
that we're even talking about.
Well, let's see if they beat the Browns. We can have a realistic discussion after if they beat the Browns, because that's a legit playoff team for sure. The Browns.
Right. All right, I pulled back into the lead by 1. We got 4 left. Let's do it. Bills at the Eagles. I got Eagles by 5.5.
So do I. It's a tie. Eagles opened at doesn't make any sense.
3, and it's what? 3.5. It's 3.5. I guess is most consistent.
Am I stupid? Sorry, yes, I am stupid. But is it like Are there some just great regular season games this year? Like, is it like some just great matchups that like I feel like we don't normally get, like with all these various contenders playing each other in the regular season?
Can't tell if you're joking or not.
I am not joking. I'm certainly not about me being stupid, but I mean, like, I feel like we've gotten some really good regular season games this year.
And to me, it seems like
Just standard.
week to week, like some weeks it's really bad, and other weeks there has been some good matchups. But like overall, I actually was leaning the other way. Like there just wasn't that as many. Like this game should be a good game, but like the Bills are still kind of like
They're
you don't really
and
know what you're
five,
getting, right? Like the Bills from last year against the way the Eagles are playing now.
Yeah.
Like I think this matchup would have been better based on projection, preseason projection, just because the Bills aren't the Bills. But so they put a 30 some on the Jets defense. I don't know if the Jets were turning it over and giving them a short field, but that's pretty impressive. Like I didn't watch any
And
of
they
that
lost to
game,
the Jets earlier too this year.
right? But yeah, I don't want to discount like this is a good game, obviously, and so again, back to the same thing I always say. I thought the Eagles would be favored by more. It's only 3.5. So I'll make the case for the Bills. The Bills obviously need this. They're
6-5.
Yeah, they're on the
just out
outside
of the
looking in.
playoffs. Yeah, they are 10th right now, so they're 3 outside the final spot.
Yeah. Eagles on a short prep week by a day. They just beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead.
Sorry, they're 8th. I'm sorry, the Bills are 8th right now. They're just behind the Steelers.
Okay.
At 6, Steelers are 6-4, Bills are 6-5.
Okay.
So they're right there. They absolutely need this game. They absolutely need this game.
Bills really need this
Can't
one.
really lose this game if they want.
Eagles whatever. Short prep week a little bit. They just beat the Chiefs, right? Yeah. So I always say coming off a big win on the road, especially the way they came back in that game. And now shorter prep week, the Bills really need it. This is definitely one of those where one team comes in with a little more juice than the other. Although, I don't know. The Eagles seem like they don't really give into that. Like they're just so consistent. Like they play. It seems like they bring the juice to every game, whereas some of these other teams, like the Commanders, or you just don't know what you're going to get. But the Bills need it. I think there's a little bit to be said on that side. You're getting
desperation.
Yeah. You're getting the 3.5 versus just the 3. Mm-hmm. I think the Bills is the side there, and then Josh Allen will come out and throw 3 picks, and the Eagles will win by 21, and that'll be that.
I think the other piece of this is the Eagles did not look great last night, and
they still won. Yeah,
they still won. They gritted it out. They were able to take advantage of the mistakes that Kansas City made, because Kansas City had 2 red zone turnovers, and I think that's what kind of doomed them. But so this is a team that has only lost 1 game, but is vulnerable and makes mistakes, because that offense for large swaths of the game was stagnant.
Yeah, and it was rainy, and the Chiefs receivers legitimately dropped 4 or 5 balls that
were right there,
and like. Some people say all the drops in it, and it was like these miracle catches that they would have had to make. This wasn't. It was like right in the
hands touching the hands, like,
and it wasn't even Kadarius Stoney hands this time. It was Watson and Valdez-Scantling, and Kelsey even missed one,
and he fumbled too. Like he fumbled it. It just was not a good game for the Chiefs, and that's why they lost. Otherwise, the Eagles would have been fairly handily, but they didn't happen. So a Brazilian team clearly, but this is a team that can be beaten. There's no question.
But in the same breath, like it seems like they know how to win a 1-score game, and they don't beat themselves up. Like they don't beat themselves at the end of a game. But
no, they're not hanging on to their mistakes. They're letting them go and just succeeding.
So the other team that played last night was the Chiefs, and they play at the Raiders, and I absolutely did not guess this line very well. We'll just say that.
Well, I
have Chiefs by 3.
I have Chiefs by 7.
And you're getting this because it is more than 7 even. Opened at 9.5, and
Nine.
it's actually came
Eight.
down to 9.
There's an 8 in there for some reason.
So we'll say Chiefs by
By 9.
9. That's bad. I'm off by 6 points. That's almost as bad as it gets. That's almost. I didn't realize there was a bunch of major injuries bad right there. Josh gets that one, so we're tied with 2 to go. Well, the Raiders, they won 2 in a row, and then they just covered against the Dolphins on the road. And now you're going to tell me the Chiefs on the road are going to come in and win by 9? Like, I do not understand that. Take the Chiefs because it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't, and we talked about this last night. They didn't score in the second half last night. They stagnated at 17 points. That's not great.
Like, are the Raiders like absolutely horrific against tight ends, or like there's got to be some weird matchup here that the Chiefs are going to be able to exploit?
I mean, might be history too. I don't know what, like in the Mahomes era, like what the Raiders record is against the Chiefs, but my guess is it's probably not very good. It's a home game for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And it's Mahomes. Like, I just feel like that's what and he's not played well at stretches this year, and the Chiefs have struggled against bad teams, but I just feel like this is historical performance that we're seeing in the line.
And now, I mean, this line has been like this since before the game last night. Like, now maybe the Chiefs are a little pissed off because they lost at home to the Eagles.
It's a bad loss.
Does that play into it a little bit? But I don't know. I'm way off on this. I don't understand. I thought I could see it being a little more than 3, but I thought Vegas would think the Raiders would be competitive in this game, and obviously that's not the case. So,
and that was it was a really bad loss for the Chiefs because they lost the bye last night. They're now in second in the AFC, which means they have to play opening weekend of the playoffs. The Ravens now have the bye, and I know it's close, right? So there's 7 games, so that's going to flip flop. But that's not something you want to give up,
right? Yeah. Interesting how this stuff all fits together.
The layers, like a good Thanksgiving stuffing.
Okay, we got 2 left. We're tied. It's coming down to the wire. It might be a tie this week. Okay. Ravens at the Chargers. I have the Ravens by 3.5.
I believe Ravens by giving 6.5.
I think I get that one. I think it's 4-ish.
Okay.
Opened at 4.
3.5.
Oh,
got
wow.
it exactly. Yes. Now it's my turn to say I don't understand this line.
Yeah. By all means.
The Ravens are a better team. They're just a better team. It's like there's nothing about this Chargers team that says they can keep within a touchdown of this Ravens group. Nothing. Not one stinking thing.
So okay. So if you factor in, 3 points for home, whatever. So let's just say this game was in Baltimore right now.
Yeah.
This line means that Baltimore would be favored by 9.5. Because you take the 3 away and you give the 3 the other. So it's a 6 point swing.
6 point swing.
So if you look at it that way, that seems like a lot of points.
I mean, I guess
that's kind of how when I'm guessing, I kind of normalize things that way if I have to, if I can't really put my finger on it.
Because that's where, so I have a 6.5. So that's where my mind was, I guess, if they were playing on but you're right. I'm not discounting that, but even saying that, I think, can the Ravens beat this team by 10 points? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Chargers are broken. I think
that's it, isn't it? Though it's like they feel like a team that's just
like Staley
busted.
Staley has to be fired.
Yeah, he's lost that team.
I don't know that I really love Rex Ryan's opinions. It's interesting that he's out there and he just kind of says what he thinks, but he's like, Staley should go back to Division 3 where he came from or something like that.
He was the DC of the Rams when they won the Super Bowl, wasn't he?
Or obviously at some point in history he must have made a jump from D3 up, I guess, somehow. Yeah. But I don't think I knew that. I thought it was funny just because I've been saying, I think, most of the year how he just makes weird decisions on going for it, and his defense is pretty terrible when he's a defensive-minded coach. It just seems like he's got to be done. The Chargers are what, 4-7?
Something like that. Yeah, they are 4-6.
In the AFC, 4-6.
Yeah, so
So
they're like the
obviously-
fourth worst team.
Still some opportunity. Like, it's not like they're completely out of it, but you kind of have to almost run the table, and now you have to play the Ravens this week.
I mean, I don't feel the Chargers are better than the Bills, the Colts, the Broncos, or the Bengals. And with the Bengals, without Joe Burrow, I still think they're probably maybe a better team. They're not getting through any of those teams to claim that final spot. I don't feel.
Yeah. I mean, it's a home dog, so like there's something to be said for the Chargers there. But I think the Ravens are going to roll them, and I think Staley gets fired after.
Yeah, maybe even. Yeah, if it's bad enough, it's
Or-
just coming. He's getting testy at press conferences. Staley is, I'm calling the defense. Don't ask me again. So, I mean, I feel like once he's at that point, it's like, okay, well, we won't ask, and we probably won't need to.
Yeah. When you're on the street, we ain't gonna ask you anymore.
Yeah,
You don't get to be at the podium
No.
then.
probably want to be asked then, huh? Probably want to be asked then.
Okay, we
All
got
right,
one
okay.
last.
Oh yes, yep.
And we got his Bears against my Vikings, and I whiffed on this.
Oh man, okay.
So I have Vikings by 7.
And I've got the Vikings by 7 or 6.5. Give me 6.5.
And you're gonna get that. I think it's 3.5.
That's it.
Opened at 4. It's 3.5.
Right.
Bears minus 3.5.
Did they watch that game? Do they know who coaches this team? Jeez.
Okay, so again, I say this all the
Wait,
time.
it was Bears by 3.5. It's Vikings by 3.5.
Talk and type at the same time. So Vikings 3.5. So basically, the Vikings and the Bears are equal teams, right? I mean, yeah, that's what? No, like what? What's going on?
Makes no sense. Makes no sense. That this team is not being Bears are not being coached, and there's no coherent philosophy in terms of what this team should be as it executes itself on the field. That nothing is translating from the coaches to the players in a coherent manner.
So here's a wild thought.
Yeah.
Flores likes to blitz,
Yes.
and maybe Justin Fields is the wrong quarterback to blitz. Maybe that's not a good game plan.
It worked last time though. Like the Bears just played the Vikings like 4 weeks ago, and that's exactly what they did. And Fields fell apart. This was after that game, the Washington game, when Fields threw for 4 touchdowns, didn't throw a pick. DJ Moore looked amazing, and it was the Vikings game was the next game. We were all excited, and he just failed. Fields failed, which sucked because I don't know. And he just crumpled under the pressure, and he couldn't deal with it. And you've not seen anything that he's done to date, Fields, to say that he can respond to that kind of pressure.
Yeah. So this is
Doesn't make sense.
this is Monday night next week.
Big game.
We should probably. Well, it'll be a long weekend, but maybe
No.
we should go
Yeah.
out. Your team against my team. Maybe we
Should
should.
do it. All
Go
right. So
watch it.
we got to go to someplace better then.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, but we can say we gotta go someplace, or at least different, right? We said we need to go someplace different.
So Vikings only 3.5. I guess this division game is going to come down to a field goal ish.
I mean, the Vikings win by a touchdown.
I think so too, but again, it's I was off, so I'm obviously usually something's up with that. I don't know.
I don't know.
Not sure. Nope. All right, 16 games. We've gone on long enough. That's a wrap. Go Vikings!
Go Bears!